Alright. Alright. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Alright. First and foremost, before we begin, we want to say all praises due to the Most High, Almighty Ahaya. This is the Essene Community Church. Alright. My name is Brother Shamar.
My name is Brother Tabak.
Alright. And today we'll be bringing you the Sabbath Lesson. Alright. We had a good conference call in the week where we set some new stuff, and we're kind of just, going to go back and really set some things in stone and get ready to make some of these things public. Alright. So the first thing we're going to do is just take it right back and to the beginning and just start with what is the Essene priesthood. Alright. And even though this is a review lesson, a lot of information that's new is going to come out in it. Alright. Just exactly on who the Essenes are and where they are in the scriptures and how did they get the priesthood. Alright. Because when you tell people about Essenes, first of all, they don't even know that name in the Bible. When you tell them about the sons of Zadok, they're like, what about the Levitical priesthood? What about the sons of Aaron? What about all of these things? So we're really going to go into a timeline right down to the Essenes to know exactly who they are, so that when people come to us and say, who the Essenes, why should we follow this order or this priesthood? There's without a shadow of a doubt when we show them the scriptures that this priesthood is from the Most High and it's in the scriptures and it was foretold from a long time ago. Alright? So before we even begin, we're just going to start with, let's go to Isaiah 53 and 1. Let's begin with Isaiah 53 and 1.
Isaiah Chapter 53 verse 1. Who has believed our report, and to whom is the arm of the Most High revealed?
Alright, so who has believed our report, and who is the arm of the Most High revealed? Alright, as the Most High has been revealing his things to the Israel, he revealed it by the word of the Most High. The word of the Most High was chosen to go on to somebody who reached a certain purification state that they could deal with the word of the Most High. The word of the Most High would then deliver a message that the Most High gave to him, and then this prophet or person would be sent on to the people to declare what the word of the Most High told him. Alright, and it would be up to the people to be learned and studied to know if what this person's saying is false or true. Alright, with that happening, that's how false prophets arise. Alright, saying that they had a dream, the Most High came to them in a vision, and they would tell the people false things of the Most High. Alright, but if you're learned in the scriptures, these things wouldn't move you. Alright, so we're not dealing with the Most High on a first-to-first, face-to-face basis right now. So we're going through the reports of the people who did and was dealing with the Most High face-to-face, and we're getting those reports correct. Alright, so this report we're going to go into is the Essene priesthood. What is the Essene priesthood? Who are the Essenes? Alright, how did they get the priesthood? Why should we follow them? Is this scripture? Is this in the Bible? All of those questions we're going to go through today. And we're going to go right from the beginning. Alright, before we begin, we're just going to break down the word Essene real quick, because we're going to be using it a lot. So I'm pretty sure people come across this, they're going to want to know what is the Essene. Alright, I put it in the two chats.
Essenes. Etymology doubtful. Probably two words are represented: Essenes and Esci. Essenes. Okay. The modest, humble, or pious ones. So Josephus in most passages used the silent or reticent ones. So at times Josephus and regularly Philo. Others with less probability derive the name from the Syriac haste, Hassan, status emphaticus, Hasaya, the pious. This explanation was suggested by what does that say? Descendants, and adopted by Ewald. Welhassen, and Screwer. From the Aramaic Asa, to heal, or the healers. So Bellerman, Hertzfeld, Geiger, from Asa, to do with, reference to the Anshi Ma'ashe, the men of wondrous practice. From a town by the obscure name of Essa, Josephus and Antiquities 4. So Heilenfeld, from Haza, to see, seers. From Ashen, Strongs. From Siha, to bathe. So Greates, or greats. The strongest reports were spread. The strangest reports were spread about this mysterious class of Jews. Finley, L.C. Speaking of the Essene community in the neighborhood of the Dead Sea, calls it the marvel of the world and characterizes it as a race continuing its existence for thousands of centuries without either wives and children or money for support, and with only the palm trees for companions in its retreat from the storms of the world. Philo, who calls the Essenes the holy ones after the Greek, says in one place, as quoted by Eusebius, that 10,000 of them had been initiated by Moses into the mysteries of the sect, which, consisting of men of advanced years having neither wives nor children, practiced the virtues of love and holiness, and inhabited many cities and villages of Judea, living in communism as tillers of the soil, or as mechanics according to common rules of simplicity and abstinence. In other passage, quod omnis probis liber 12 et sec, he speaks of only 4,000 Essenes who lived as farmers and artisans apart from the cities and in a perfect state of communism, and who condemned slavery, avoided sacrifice, abstained from swearing, strove for holiness, and were particularly scrupulous regarding the Sabbath, which day was devoted to the reading and allegorical interpretation of the law.
All right, so the Essenes, all right, they have numerous meanings for this name. Okay, modest, the humble, the pious ones, the silent, reticent ones, the pious, the healers, okay, men of wondrous practices, the seers, okay. And this was a mystery sect out of the Jews, okay? So a lot of people don't know exactly where they come from, okay? When you go and you research about them, they won't really attach it to the Bible and give you a timeline on who are they, where did they come about, who's their fathers, what is all of these things. So this is what we're going to go into to answer those questions for people, for when they come across the Essenes, they're like, what is the Essene priesthood? What are you guys really dealing with, all right? We're going to go and we're going to answer all of that today on who these men are, all right? Who are the Essenes in the Bible? And where do they come from? And why are we following them as a priesthood and not the Levitical priesthood?
Communism.
Yes, communism. They lived in communism, which is to, have everything in common. All right. We know that right now communism is demonized because the wicked one got a hold of it. And he wants you to share what you had while ripping you off at the same time and ripping the countries off. All right. So communism has a bad image right now in the eyes of people because it's been used in political governments and it's tore down a lot of countries. So when people hear of communism or having everything common, they're not really down with it. Like places like Cuba have communism. North Korea, all right, all these places that who want to take down the Jewish powers. All right, so we're gonna start right in the beginning. We're gonna go all the way to Adam, all right, and we're gonna follow the priesthood all the way down to where we get to the Essenes, all right. So a lot of people don't know that there was an order prior to children of Israel. People were following laws. The law was given to Adam. Without if there's no Levitical priesthood, who was following the law? Who was teaching people the law? We're going to go into all of this right now. Okay, how was the people getting the law when there was no Levitical priesthood? Okay, because we only know the Levites through children of Israel, but children of Israel just came on the scene. All right, they were the last two nations. Them and what we call Esau was the last two. Okay, so what was transpiring before? Who was the Most High using? How was it going down? That's what we're going to go and we're going to check out. So we're going to go to Genesis 1. Correct. And 26, all right, and we're going to start right from Adam and work our way down. All right, so after this there will be no doubt that everybody will understand completely why we're following the Essenes and who they are and them fulfilling prophecies in the scriptures.
Genesis chapter 1 verse 26. And the Most High said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth.
All right, so when the Most High made man, the first man, Adam, told Adam he's going to let Adam have dominion over everything in the earth. All right, let's go into the Hebrew Strongs for dominion.
Strong's number H7287, Hebrew word radah, a primitive root to tread down, that is subjugate, specifically to crumble off, come to, make to, have dominion, prevail against, reign, bear, make to, rule, ruler, rule over, take, to rule, have dominion, dominate, tread down, to have dominion, rule, subjugate, to cause to dominate, to scrape out.
That was it? Okay. Yeah, so, alright. Adam was given dominion, alright? He's the first man on earth. There's nobody other than him right there. He's given dominion. What does dominion mean? To rule, alright? To dominate, to tread down, to crumble, to reign, to bear. So he was the first king on the earth, alright? He's a ruler of the earth. So he's a king, alright? We're going to see what else Adam is as well. And we're going to go to the book of Jubilees, chapter 3, verse 27.
The Garden of Eden. And on that day on which Adam went forth from the garden, he offered as a sweet savor an offering, frankincense, galbanum, and stacks, and spices in the morning with the rising of the sun from the day when he covered his shame.
Alright, so we have Adam being placed as a king, and as well as being a king, we have Adam offering sacrifices for his own sin, because there's no priesthood there right now, right? So Adam is both what? He's both king and priest. Alright, Adam is a king and priest. It's not like how it was right now, where you have Judah and you have Levi. Okay, you have both in under one person, one control. Okay, Adam is king and he is a priest at the same time. Alright, and he's the first one of his kind, and we're going to follow who gets it after and go down as we go. So we're going to go to the second book of Adam and Eve, chapter 11 and 3.
And Seth, the elder, tall and good, with a fine soul, and of a strong mind, stood at the head of his people, and tended them in innocence, penitence, and meekness, and did not allow one of them to go down to Cain's children.
All right. So after Adam, and Adam was passing, Adam passed it down to Seth, and Seth became the head of the people. All right. Seth became king and priest over his people. All right. Over the children of Adam. All right. And we're going to go now to the second book of Adam and Eve, chapter 12 and 15. So after Seth, who's king and priest now after Adam? Who got the kingship and the priesthood after Seth? All right. Second book of Adam and Eve, chapter 12 and 15.
Second book of Adam and Eve, chapter 12, verse 15. After the death of Seth, Enos rose at the head of his people, whom he fed in righteousness and judgment, as his father had commanded him. But by the time Enos was 820 years old, Cain had a large progeny, for they married frequently, being given to animal lusts, until the land below the mountain was filled with them.
All right. So Enos arose after Seth. So when Seth was passing, Seth now passes it down to Enos, who's his child. All right. This is going down, and it's going down, if you guys don't know, to the, what they call, to the firstborn of that person. It was supposed to go to Abel, but Abel died. All right. And we know that Seth was given in his replacement. All right. That's why Seth got it. And after Seth, Enos got it. All right. And did as Seth commanded him. And in Enos's time, the children of Cain began to become large family, because they were marrying frequently. If you check Adam and Eve and the rest of them, they were marrying like every 30 years. They have a child or something. They're showing you that Cain was having one constantly, because they're giving into animal lust. All right.
Basically doing it too much.
Yeah,
okay.
Doing it too much. All right. If you look at the animals, they don't do it like even how, you know, we are. They have mating season. They have a certain time where they go into that mode. All right. So let's go to the second book of Adam and Eve, chapter 15, and see who got it after Enos.
After the death of Enos, Canaan stood at the head of his people in righteousness and innocence, as his father had commanded him. He also continued to minister before the body of Adam, inside the cave of treasures.
All right. So Canaan then stood at the head of his people. All right. After his father died, and did as he commanded him, and ministered even unto the body of Adam. So he was a king and a priest. So before there was a Levitical priesthood, we had one person who would reign as king and priest and govern the people, reign over them, and show them how to reach the Most High. All right. So we're going to even go into when did that stop. All right. Why did we get to the whole Leviticus priesthood and Judah being king, or what do you call thing getting it first, Benjamin getting it first, and then Judah. All right. So we're going to go to the second book of Adam and Eve, chapter 16.
Second book of Adam and Eve, chapter 16. The good branch of the family is still afraid of the children of Cain. Then Mahalaleel stood over his people and fed them in righteousness and innocence, and watched them to see they held no intercourse with the children of Cain.
All right. So even to take note of this, all these people prior had the children of Adam who separate from Cain. All right. They had them under control. They weren't dealing with Cain. They weren't dealing with any of that. All right. Anybody remember in the scriptures in the Bible when it says that problems start to arise with the watchers and all of that? Whose time was that? Jared's time. All right. So we're going to see who gets it. All right. And we're going to see what transpires, because this is going to go into that time as well. All right. So Mahalalel got it after Canaan. All right, Mahalalel got the priesthood and kingship after Canaan, and he ensured that nobody was holding intercourse with the children of Cain. So the children that came from under Seth was not dealing with the children of Cain in any type of way, form, up until this point. All right, so we're going to go to the who gets it after Mahalalel died. All right, so we're at the second book of Adam and Eve.
Second book of Adam and Eve, chapter 16, verse 4. Then Mahalalel arose and sat on his bed, his tears streaming down his face, and he called his eldest son Jared, who came to him.
All right, so as you see, we're going down. It was always going to the eldest son. The eldest son would come, and that's who the person would give his reins to. All right, the reins of the kingship and the priesthood will go down to the eldest son. And this next in line after Mahalalel was Jared. All right, and we know that in Jared's time, the scripture says that's when the watchers started to fall. So things wasn't as smooth as it was to the prior people that was before him. All right, so this is going to go into a little of what was going down in Jared's time. All right, so second book of Adam and Eve, chapter 16 and 4. 16 and 5.
He then kissed his face and said to him, O Jared, my son, I adjure thee, by him who made heaven and earth, to watch over thy people, and to feed them in righteousness and in innocence, and not to let one of them go down from this holy mountain to the children of Cain, lest he perish with them.
All right, so he's begging him, all right, to watch over his people, to feed them with righteousness and innocence, all right, and to not let them go down from this holy mountain. So at a time they were dwelling on a mountain, and they would be separate from Cain. Cain and them was on the bottom parts, roaming the earth and stuff, and they were on this holy mountain, and that's where they lived and did everything, and they were instructed never to leave this mountain and go down to the children of Cain. All right, and Mahalalel is telling Jared, this is your responsibility. I'm passing it down onto you, the eldest. All right, so we're at verse 6.
Verse 6. Hear, O my son, hereafter there shall come a great destruction upon this earth on account of them. The Most High will be angry with the world and will destroy them with waters. But I also know that thy children will not hearken to thee, and that they will go down from this mountain and hold intercourse with the children of Cain, and that they shall perish with them. O my son, teach them and watch over them, that no guilt attach to thee on their account.
All right, so Jared is instructed now, but Mahalalel already sees the future and telling him that the children of Israel, they're going to, not the children of Salakia, the children of Seth, all right, they're going to stop listening to you. All right, even though I'm putting this order in, they're going to stop listening to you, but do as I told you so that you don't have any guilt on your own conscience, that it's your fault why they're doing this. Okay, so this is the time where the children of Israel start. See, the Bible only tells you in Jared's days, but it didn't tell you who Jared was, what his position of power, or anything like that. Jared was a king and a priest reigning over the children of Seth, and in his time, the people stopped listening to him. All right, and when they stopped listening to him, all of these things start to transpire. All right, we're at the second book of Adam and Eve, chapter 17.
Then Jared kept his father's commandment and arose like a lion over his people. He fed them in righteousness and innocence, and commanded them to do nothing without his counsel, for he was afraid concerning them, lest they should go to the children of Cain. Wherefore did he give them orders repeatedly, and continued to do so until the end of the 485th year of his life.
All right, so he rose up like a lion. So him knowing this, he wasn't playing around with the people, knowing that they're going to go off at some point. So he was like a lion over his people, all right, feeding them in righteousness and and innocents, commanding them to do nothing without his counsel. So he was watching them even more, all right, knowing that these guys are eventually going to go off, all right, and he gave them orders repeatedly, all right. So Jared was a king and priest. The Bible doesn't let you know that. That's what comes, you need these extra texts to let you know, all right, like the book of Adam and Eve, the book of Jasher, Jubilees. These books go into extra details to let you know who are these people, because in the Bible it tells you real quick about Jared. It doesn't say anything about it.
These books fill in the gaps.
All right, these fill in the gaps of what was going on in Jared's time. All right, so he wasn't just before I read this, I thought, oh, Jared was just born, and he's just letting you know he was born, and during when he was born, that's when the Watchers started doing this and that. All right, but that's not what happened. Jared was a king and priest. He had the priesthood and the kingship in his what he call in his reign. All right, and the people stopped listening to him, and these things started to transpire, and then the Watchers started to fall and all of that. So we're going to go to the second book of Adam and Eve, chapter 21. All right, so even if you go, we're skipping to chapter 21, that was chapter 17, but if you read those chapters, you'll see what was going on to make the Watchers fall. All right, and what Satan was doing, all right, which we reviewed a couple times. Satan started to give them liquor, music, started to have jams, started to make them paint their nails, started to make them wear tight clothes, all of these things, all right, and these things enticed the Watchers. And that's what happened in Jared's time. All right, so we're at second book of Adam and Eve, chapter 21 and 12.
Then Jared turned to his son Enoch, and said unto him, Thou, my son, abide in this cave, and minister diligently before the body of our father Adam all the days of thy life, and feed thy people in righteousness and innocence.
All right. So Jared turned to his son Enoch. All right. So Enoch was Jared's son, and Enoch got the kingship and priesthood. All right, and was told to feed the people in righteousness and innocence. And now we're at Enoch's time. All right. So a lot of people don't know that Enoch was a king and priest. He held this priesthood and kingship in his power, stemming all the way down from Adam. All right, so we're going to go to the book of Adam and Eve, chapter 22 and 6. All right, so we got to follow this timeline down right till we get to the children of Israel, the Levitical priesthood, all of that to see what happened. All right, it's like a baton being passed down in a relay race. All right, so we're at second book of Adam and Eve, chapter 22 and 6.
And ye are the last rulers over this people on this mountain, for I know that not one will be left you to beget children on this holy mountain, neither shall any one of you rule over the children of his people, neither shall any great company be left of you on this mountain.
All right, so that's chapter 22. And actually, let's go into that chapter a little more to show who those people were. That was chapter 22, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. 22 and 6. Second book of Adam and Eve, chapter 22. 22 and 6. Okay, and I'll put it in the both chats, just to go into the extra detail that it's giving you there. Alright, so that's second book of Adam and Eve, chapter 22.
Second book of Adam and Eve, chapter 22. You want me to read this? Verse 1.
No, go to but.
Yeah. But Enoch kept the commandment of Jared his father, and continued to minister in the cave. It is this Enoch to whom many wonders happened, and who also wrote a celebrated book. But those wonders may not be told in this place.
Alright, so even in this book of Adam and Eve, alright, it lets you know that Enoch wrote a book, a celebrated book. Alright, a lot of people go in the Bible and they see Enoch was taken, he prophesied this and that, and they don't believe he had a testament or a book. Alright, even the book of Adam and Eve lets you know that this is the Enoch that had the celebrated book. It's a celebrated book. Alright, because Enoch means initiate. Alright, he was the initiator of this first type of knowledge that was being given out. Alright, so this book was celebrated, and it was so holy, and the things within this book they didn't even want to tell you in this regard, in this place right here. Alright, but continue.
Verse 3. Then after this the children of Seth went astray and fell, they, their children, and their wives. And when Enoch, Methuselah, Lamech, and Noah saw them, their hearts suffered by reason of their fall into doubtful of unbelief. And they wept and sought of the Most High mercy to preserve them and to bring them out of that wicked generation.
Alright, so here we have the children of Seth going astray, and they fell, and their children and their wives. Alright, and we have Enoch, Methuselah, Lamech, and Noah. Alright, who's here. Alright, so these are the last people. Alright, they're not going to have any people to govern. So we're even going to understand that the reason why the Most High had to wash out everybody is because at that time, for real, the children of Seth, everybody, they went off. And it was only left these 4 men who were holy. Alright, only these 4 men who were holy were left. Alright, all the people went astray. So when some people be like, why did the Most High wash out the whole earth? It's just the scriptures showing you here that all the children of Seth eventually went, and they went down to the children of Cain, and they all fell. And all that was left there was Enoch, Methuselah, Lamech, and Noah. Alright, and their hearts suffered by the reason of their fall into doubt of unbelief. Alright, so continue verse 4.
Verse 4. Enoch continued in his ministry before the Most High 385 years, and at the end of that time he became aware through the grace of the Most High that the Most High intended to remove him from the earth. He then said to his son, O my son, I know that the Most High intends to bring the waters of the flood upon the earth, and to destroy our creation, and ye are the last rulers over this people on this mountain.
That's verse 6. Oh my God.
For I know that not one will be left you to beget children on this holy mountain, neither shall any one of you rule over the children of his people, neither shall any great company be left of you on this mountain.
Alright, so he's letting them know that he knows that only them is left of the people, alright, on this mountain. So there's nobody
Enoch's telling his son.
Okay, yeah. Alright, so at this time every one of them became ministers and priests, because there's nobody to think over. So you're gonna see that he's gonna say, let's go to verse 7. I'm gonna put that. Okay.
Verse 7. Enoch said also to them, watch over your souls, and hold fast by your fear of the Most High, and by your service of him, and worship him in upright faith, and serve him in righteousness. in righteousness, Salakia, innocence, and judgment, in repentance, and also in purity. When Enoch had ended his commandments to them, the Most High transported him from that mountain to the land of life, to the mansions of the righteous and of the chosen, the abode of paradise of joy, in light that reaches up to heaven, light that is outside the light of this world. For it is the light of the Most High that fills the whole world, but which no place can contain. Thus, because Enoch was in the light of the Most High, he found himself out of the reach of death, until the Most High would have him die.
Alright, so here you see Enoch instructs there's no more people to watch over, so he tells the rest of his sons, you guys just watch over your own soul right now. There's nobody else to watch over. Make sure that you're following the commandments. Minister unto yourselves. Alright, because
there are people, but they're
they're
lawless now.
They're lawless now. There's nobody to control with the law. Alright? And Enoch is being taken up. And he's being taken up into the abode of light. And this even lets you know why Enoch isn't gonna die, because if he's in heaven, death is not up in heaven. So that's what comes, he's not gonna die up there. He's out of the reach of death until he comes back and the Most High has him die, which a lot of people don't know. Enoch is gonna have to come back and die, because it was written that every man has to die.
Every man.
All right? He didn't say when you have to die, so he could postpone that at any time he wants. All right, just as long as it fulfills before the earth is be called the heaven and earth passes. All right, so we're at Enoch now. So we're gonna go back to the document. We're gonna go to Genesis 6 and 8.
Genesis chapter 6 verse 8. But Noah found grace in the eyes of the Most High. These are the generations of Noah. Noah was a just man and perfect in his generations. And Noah walked with the Most High. And Noah begat 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. The earth was, the earth also was corrupt before the Most High, and the earth was filled with violence.
All right, so Noah was the chosen person that was going to go and continue on after the flood. All right, so by default, Noah became king and priest. So we're going to go after the flood now, after Noah, and we see Noah has 3 children, right? Shem, Ham, and Japheth. So we want to know out of which of those 3 children got the priesthood, got the blessings from Noah. So we're going to go right to the book of Jasher. All right, we're at Jasher 16 and 11.
Jasher chapter 16 and 11. And Adonizedek, king of Jerusalem, the same was Shem, went out with his men to meet Abram and his people with bread and wine, and they remained together in the valley of Melech.
All right, so Melchisedec, all right, who they have it in Jasher as Donadek, all right, Adonizedek, all right, was Shem, all right, and it lets you know that he went out with his men to meet Abram and his people with bread and wine, all right, that's the communion, okay. They remained together in the valley of Melech, and Azanek blessed Abraham, and Abraham gave him 1/10 of all. So it starts off letting you know that he's a king, and then it lets you know that Abraham gave him 1/10 of all. So what is he? He's a king and priest. Okay, so it went down to Shem now, all right, and that would have you know that Shem was what? Shem would have been the oldest out of the children, all right?
No, he's second.
He's separated then.
He's second.
He's second. Yeah.
He's second oldest?
Yeah.
It's the oldest.
We got to see why he got that then, alright? Something probably transferred. We're going to see.
You know, what transpired was when he covered Noah. He was the first one that went in to cover him, and Jared just came and assisted. But he was one.
Japheth just came in and assisted.
Japheth came in and assisted, but it was him who initially said, cover him right now.
All right, so
that's why it was given to him.
and you're going to see also that transpires again where it goes like that, where it skips the eldest because something happens with the oldest. Okay, so here we see Japheth, all right, wasn't quick to cover his father. Shem was, and that's why Shem got it. All right, and we know that a curse came not on Ham but went to his son. He couldn't curse Ham. All right, but it went to Canaan. All right, so we're going to go into the order of Melchizedek. What is, because we hear this a lot, the order of Melchizedek. What is that? All right, so we're going to go into the order of Melchizedek.
The law of Moses stipulates that only the male descendants of Aaron be commissioned to serve as Jewish priests before the Most High of Israel and the Jewish nation. This commission is believed in Judaism to be a covenant of everlasting priesthood and not eligible for replacement by other tribes of Israel. Judaic Midrash exegesis identifies Melchizedek with Shem, the son of Noah. Although the book of Genesis affirms that Melchizedek was priest of the Most High, the Midrash and Babylonian Talmud maintain that the priesthood held by Melchizedek, who predated the patriarch Levi by 5 generations. Melchizedek predates Aaron by 6 generations. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Levi, Kehath, Amram, Aaron was given in his stead to Abraham, who in turn passed it on to his patrilineal descendants, Isaac, and then to Jacob. Midrashic literature attributes this transition as a consequence due to Melchizedek preceding the name of Abraham to that of the Most High, such as in the Midrash Rabbah to Genesis. Tractate Nedarim, while some Jewish commentators such as Chaim Ibn Attar write that Melchizedek gave the priesthood to Abraham willingly.
Alright, so here they let you know that, alright, the priesthood that we know of, the Levitical priesthood, you have to be born a Levite in order to be a priest. Alright, but Melchizedek was part of an order that he wasn't a Levite. This is way before Levi. He's 6 generations ahead of the sons of Aaron, alright? And he had his own order. This order is not, he didn't make up this order. We see that this order has been passed down from creation, from Adam, on down to Seth, on down to Enos, on going on down and down and down until now we're at Melchizedek. Alright, Shem, who got it from his father Noah. It lets you know that after Melchizedek, Abraham gets it. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. Alright, so we want to know what happened when it reached Israel. Alright, the children of Israel. Alright, and those sons. So we're going to go right to there. We're not going to go into Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Alright, we're going to go right to the children of Israel now and see what transpired to where this didn't go down into the 12 tribes. Alright, so we're at Genesis 29 and 32. We're going to go to who was the firstborn of the children of Israel. It was Reuben. So we're going to go to Reuben.
Genesis chapter 29 verse 32. And Leah conceived and bare a son, and she called his name Reuben, for she said, surely the Most High has looked upon my affliction. Now therefore my husband will love me.
Alright, so Reuben is the firstborn. Alright, so Reuben, as the tradition had it, should have been receiving the priesthood and kingship. Just like how Abraham received it, Isaac, Jacob. Alright, Reuben should be receiving it. Alright, but we don't know Reuben as having the priesthood or the kingship. Alright, so what transpired to why Reuben didn't get this blessing? Alright, so we're going to go to Genesis 35 and 22.
Genesis chapter 35 verse 22. And it came to pass when Israel dwelt in that land that Reuben went and lay with Bilhah, his father's concubine, and Israel heard it. Now the sons of Jacob were 12. The sons of Leah, Reuben, Jacob's firstborn, and Simeon, and Levi, and Judah, and Issachar, and Zebulun. The sons of Rachel, Joseph, and Benjamin. And the sons of Bilhah, Rachel's handmaid, Dan, and Naphtali. And the sons of Zilpah, Leah's handmaid, Gad, and Asher. These are the sons of Jacob, which were born to him in Padanaram.
Alright, so here we have it. Reuben, the firstborn, alright, goes and sleeps with Bilhah, alright, Jacob's concubine. And this is a great sin, okay? And because of this sin, we're going to see that Reuben loses the firstborn blessing that was being passed down from Adam. Alright, we're going to go right to Genesis 49 and 3.
Genesis chapter 49 verse 3. Reuben, thou art my firstborn, my might, and the beginning of my strength, the excellency of dignity, and the excellency of power. Unstable as water, thou shalt not excel, because thou wentest up to thy father's bed. Then defilest thou it. He went up to my couch.
Alright, so he lets Reuben know, you're the firstborn, you're the beginning of my strength, the excellency, everything. But you're stable as water, and you're not going to excel. So he doesn't bless him. He doesn't pass on the blessings, the firstborn blessings, onto Reuben. Alright, it actually goes and it gets split up now. This is the time where it gets split up. It gets split up and it goes to Judah and it goes to Levi. And the order of Melchisedec stops right there, alright, to where one person is reigning as both king and priest. Alright, so it's given to Levi. Alright, we're going to go to Sirach 45 and 5 to show you that out of Levi, Aaron was given the priesthood. Alright, Sirach 45 and 5.
He made him to hear his voice, and brought him into the dark cloud, and gave him commandments before his face, even the law of life and knowledge, that he might teach Jacob his covenants, and Israel his judgments. He exalted Aaron, an holy man like unto him, even his brother of the tribe of Levi. An everlasting covenant he made with him, and gave him the priesthood among the people. He beautified him with comely ornaments, and clothed him with a robe of glory.
Alright, so the priesthood was given down onto Aaron. Alright, it was given to Levi. Then they exalted Aaron, who was going to get the priesthood from Levi and hold it. Alright, and the Most High made an everlasting covenant with him, and he gave him the priesthood among the people. He beautified him with comely ornaments and clothed him with a robe of glory. So out of the children of Levi, Aaron now received the priesthood. Alright, we already know where the kingship went. The kingship went to Judah, and eventually out of Judah it went to the line of King David, who would have it until Christ comes. Alright, but a lot of people don't know the same thing that happened with the kingship happened with the priesthood. Alright, the priesthood had to fall out of a certain family. So when people are like, oh, the Essenes, they fell off, or they went off, or something went out, you're going to see that that's impossible when you follow the timeline. Because just as everybody knows that no one from Israel can come and tell you you're king unless you're from the tribe of Judah and out the lineage of David. That the same is also for the priesthood. That you shouldn't be following anybody or any priesthood that comes outside of a certain bloodline. And you're going to see. Alright, we're going to go to Sirach 45 and 15.
Sirach, or Ecclesiasticus chapter 45 verse 15. Moses consecrated him and anointed him with holy oil.
Alright, this is talking about Aaron.
This was appointed unto him by an everlasting covenant, and to his seed, so long as the heaven should remain, that they should minister unto him, and execute the office of the priesthood, and bless the people in his name. He chose him out of all men living to offer sacrifices to the Most High, incense, and a sweet savor for a memorial to make reconciliation for his people. He gave unto him his commandments and authority in the statutes of judgments, that he should teach Jacob the testimonies and inform Israel in his laws.
Alright, so Aaron was given this, alright, everlasting covenant to his seed. Alright, so a lot of people know this much. They know that the priesthood goes to Levi, then it goes to Aaron. Alright, but after Aaron, something transpires to where another family out of Aaron receives this priesthood, and these are the priests you're going to have to follow. Alright, and take commands from. The same way everybody knows out of Judah, you're not going to follow anybody, or no one could come and tell you they're king out of Judah unless they're from the line of David. Alright, any other family, you're going to be like, nah, they're not the kings. Alright, the same thing is going to be for the priesthood you're going to see. Alright, so we're at Sirach 45 and 20. Alright, so it goes to Levi. From Levi, it goes down to Aaron. Alright.
Sirach, or Ecclesiasticus, chapter 45, verse 20. But he made Aaron more honorable, and gave him an heritage, and divided unto him the first fruits of the incense. Especially he prepared bread in abundance.
First fruits of the increase.
Salakia. First fruits of the increase. Especially he prepared bread in abundance. For they eat of the sacrifices of the Most High, which he gave unto him and his seed. Howbeit, in the land of the people, he had no inheritance, neither had he any portion among the people. For the Most High himself is his portion and inheritance.
Alright, so they keep showing you Aaron is made honorable. Aaron has the heritage of the priesthood. Alright, that other half of that blessing that was supposed to go to Reuben. Aaron and his people have it. Levi has it, and out of Levi, the bloodline of Aaron has it. Alright, and Aaron, they didn't receive any other inheritance because the Most High is their inheritance. So they didn't have any land or anything. They would go and they would live among the people because they're healers, they're the priesthood. That's like having a hospital and all the hospitals is in one area. You can't have that. Hospital has to be over here, over there, over there. So Levi had to be stationed among the people in different areas, alright? Because they're dealing with the people's problems. Any sickness, anything, you're going to the priest, alright? So we're at verse 23.
Verse 23. The third in glory is Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, because he had zeal in the fear of the Most High, and stood up with good courage of heart, when the people were turned back and made reconciliation for Israel.
Alright, so the third in glory is Phinehas, alright? And this is translated out of the Greek, so it says Phinehas here, but it's actually Phinehas, alright? And when people think of the priesthood, and not even I knew this till we're doing this the other day in Tabernacle, and this was revealed more to us, that no one ever speaks of Phinehas and the priesthood. And who is this person, Phinehas? Everyone knows about Aaron, but who is this next person in glory after Aaron, whose name is Phinehas, alright? Son of Eleazar. Alright? The Most High, the Most High said he stood up with courage of heart when the people were turned back, and he made a reconciliation for Israel. We're going to go to chapter 24.
Verse 24.
Yeah, verse 24, Salakia. Sirach 45, verse 24.
Therefore was there a covenant of peace made with him, that he should be the chief of the sanctuary and of his people, and that he and his posterity should have the dignity of the priesthood forever.
Alright, so there was a covenant because Phinehas did this thing, alright, and Phinehas, you're going to see, comes from out of Aaron's line. Because Phinehas did this thing, the Most High made a covenant with this person named Phinehas, alright, or Phinehas in the Greek, alright, and a covenant with peace was made that he should be chief of the sanctuary. So Phinehas' bloodline is supposed to be chief of the sanctuary, alright. Go into the definition of chief there.
Shabbat. Oh, chief.
Yeah.
Hebrew Strong's H8269. Word sar. A head from H8323. A head person of any rank or class, captain that had rule, chief, captain, general, governor, keeper, lord, master, prince, principal, ruler, steward.
Alright, so he's a head person, alright, captain, chief, general, governor, alright. He's now the head of the sanctuary. So when people mention the priesthood, especially Israelites, they never mention Phinehas, and they never mention his bloodline being the head of the sanctuary, them supposed to rule the priesthood and all of that. Nobody mentions that, alright. It stops at Aaron. When people go into the scriptures, they always stop at Aaron. They go to Levi and they stop at Aaron. Alright, but now we see that the Most High made a covenant with somebody after Aaron. Alright, out of Aaron's bloodline, whose name is Phinehas. And they're now chief of the sanctuary. Alright, so read that verse 24 again.
Verse 24. Therefore was there a covenant of peace made with him, that he should be the chief of the sanctuary and of his people, and that he and his posterity should have the dignity of the priesthood forever.
Alright, so he and his posterity, so he and his family out of Levi is supposed to have the priesthood forever. So if you're going to read anything pertaining to a priesthood or dealing with the priesthood, you're going to want to make sure it's out of these people right here. Just the same way if you're reading about kings, or if somebody was to come to Israel at those times and say they were king, they would have to be out of the line of David. Just like Christ would have to be out of the line of David, alright? If somebody else comes and tells you they're the Messiah, alright, and they're not out of David's line, then you would reject that, because that's impossible, because the Most High made a covenant with David that the kingship is going to stay in his bloodline, alright? So the same thing is being made with the priesthood, alright? Phinehas is going to hold the priesthood forever, alright? He should have dignity over the priesthood forever. So we're going to go to the definition for dignity.
Dignity. Strong's number 7613. Hebrew word sahayith. An elevation or leprous scab. Figuratively, elation or cheerfulness. Exaltation in rank or character. Be accepted. Dignity. Excellency. Highness. Raise up self. Rising.
Alright, so he was going to have the elevation, alright, the exaltation in rank of the priesthood forever. Alright, so Phinehas is going to have everything of the priesthood forever. And we're going to go and we're going to trace down who this Phinehas is and who comes out of Phinehas. Alright, so go to verse 25.
Verse 25. According to the covenant made with David, son of Jesse, of the tribe of Judah, that the inheritance of the king should be to his posterity alone. So the inheritance of Aaron should also be unto his seed.
Alright, so they showed you here the same way the covenant the Most High made with David, son of Jesse, of the tribe of Judah, that the inheritance of the king is going to be to his bloodline alone. The same thing is with Aaron and the Levitical bloodline, that it's going to be unto Phinehas and his seed alone. Alright, only his seed of Phinehas. So we're going to go into this Phinehas and see who this is. So we're at Exodus 6 and 25.
Exodus chapter 6 verse 25. And Eleazar, Aaron's son, took him one of the daughters of Putiel to wife, and she bare him Phinehas. These are the heads of the fathers of the Levites according to their families.
Alright, so Eleazar is Phinehas's father. Alright, and Eleazar is a son of Aaron. So you see the bloodline goes, the priesthood goes down to Aaron. From Aaron, to Eleazar. Eleazar has Phinehas, and then we're going to see who comes out of Phinehas now, to who we should be following, all right, and how the priesthood ends up into the sons of Zadok, all right, the Essenes. All right, so we're at Numbers 25 and 6. We're going to go and we're just going to see what transpired with Phinehas to get this position, all right, and to get this blessing of the covenant.
Numbers chapter 25 verse 6. And behold, one of the children of Israel came and brought unto his brethren a Midianitish woman in the sight of Moses and in the sight of all the congregation of the children of Israel, who were weeping before the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And when Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron, the priest, saw it, he rose up from among the congregation and took a javelin in his hand. And when he went after the man of Israel into the tent, he thrust both of them through, the man of Israel and the woman through her belly. So the plague was stayed from the children of Israel. And those that died in the plague were 24,000.
Alright, so there's a plague going on, alright, with the Midianites and all, and the Most High was telling them not to deal with them, alright, and Phinehas sees this person, child of Israel, go and takes one of these women and is bringing them amongst the children of Israel and is going to go sleep with them and doing all of this in front of them, and no one was saying nothing. Phinehas goes and he takes up a javelin and he says, nah, this is not going on, and he goes right into the tent and he stabs both of them right through the man and then through the woman, killing both of them. Alright, and stopping the plague of Israel. And the Most High seen this and was happy with that he stopped this and stopped a plague from happening. Alright, but people still died from the plague. 24,000 people. Alright, so Phinehas, this is, alright, Phinehas, this is what the Most High was speaking about. Alright, when he had good courage of heart and turned back the people from dealing with a great sin. Alright, he stopped that by doing that. So we're going to continue to verse 10.
Numbers chapter 25 verse 10. And the Most High spake unto Moses, saying, Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron the priest, has turned my wrath away from the children of Israel, while he was zealous for my sake among them, that I consumed not the children of Israel in my jealousy. Wherefore say, behold, I give unto him my covenant of peace, and he shall have it, and his seed after him, even the covenant of an everlasting priesthood, because he was the zealous for his...
He was zealous.
He was zealous for his power, and made an atonement for the children of Israel.
Alright, so here in the scriptures you see it as well. Alright, Phinehas did this. The Most High gives him the covenant of everlasting priesthood. Alright, and to his bloodline, it goes into Phinehas' bloodline. So now we're going to trace down Phinehas and all of this and get down to the sons of Zadok. Alright, so first we're going to go to Zadok. We're going to go to the Zadok and we're going to see who Zadok's father is. Alright, so we're going to go to 2 Samuel 2 and 17.
And Zadok, the son of Ahitub, and Ahimelech, the son of Abiathar, were the priests, and Sariah was the scribe.
Alright, so you're going to see that Zadok is the son of Ahitub. Alright, so we're going to go into who is Ahitub. Alright, we're going to go into the definition of Ahitub first.
Ahitub, Strong's number H285, Hebrew word Akitub, from H251 and H2898, brother of goodness. Akitub, the name of several priests. Ahitub.
Alright, so Ahitub, brother of goodness. Alright, who is Ahitub? We're going to go into the Bible definition for Ahitub.
Ahitub, Easton's Bible Dictionary, brother of goodness, good, the son of Phinehas.
Alright, so here we have it. Zadok's father is Ahitub. Alright? Ahitub is the son of Phinehas. Phinehas is who got the priesthood. Alright? So this is how the sons of Zadok get the priesthood, and why we would want to follow the sons of Zadok's order of the priesthood. Alright? It's clearly here. Traced down, we traced it all the way down from Adam to see it get passed right down to Zadok. Alright? To Phinehas, and then from Phinehas to Zadok. I mean, from Phinehas to Ahitub, and Ahitub to Zadok. Alright, but continue.
On the death of his grandfather Eli, he succeeded to the office of high priest, and was himself succeeded by his son Ahijah, the father of Zadok, who was made high priest by Saul after the extermination of the family of Ahimelech.
Alright, so Ahimelech, if you go and check the scriptures, he had the priesthood out of that bloodline for a while. I'm just going to go real quick to what transpired with him. Where's the name again? Ahimelech. Copy that name. Copy that and go into the. I'm not copying it. Abimelech. How you spell it again? Abimelech.
Ahimelech.
Oh, Ahimelech.
No, I'm saying it's very close to Abimelech.
It's close,
Yeah,
but it's
okay.
No.
Ahimelech.
Okay, Ahimelech. All right. So we'll go read what transpired to him, why he lost the covenant. All right, and it was given unto Zadok, the family of Zadok. Put it in the chat. Alright. So these are key things that you have to know, because when you come to people who's dealing with the Bible, or especially other Israelites who's dealing with beliefs, you have to be able to break down the priesthood to them. To why are you following the sons of God? Who are they? What makes them the people in charge? Alright. And we have to go into the Bible to show this. And sometimes just showing that the two scriptures that we use for the sons of Zadok is not good enough for some people. All right. Okay.
Ahimelech's death was seen as a partial fulfillment of the curse on the house of Eli, that none of Eli's male descendants would live to old age. The other part of the curse on the house of Eli, that the priesthood would pass out of his descendants.
All right. So out of Phinehas, the house of Eli had it. All right, for a while, but it was prophesied that out of his descendants, that priesthood would pass out of. All right. Continue.
Was fulfilled when Abiathar was disposed from the office of high priest, Rabbinical literature linked the extermination of the male descendants of David with the extermination of the priests of Nob by Saul, deeming it divine retribution because David's action had provoked Saul's outburst, and also linked the survival of David's descendant Joash with that of Ahimelech's son Abiathar.
All right, so it was destined. All right, it was prophesied the same way. We call David. You know, he had certain people in his bloodline that the kingship couldn't come out of. The same thing happened over here, to where the house of Eli, it had to come out of the house of Eli. The priesthood, all right, would have to come out of there, and it went into the house of Zadok. Alright, so if you go back to the Bible dictionary there and just read the last point there. Again. The father of Zadok.
The father of Zadok, who was made high priest by Saul after the extermination of the family of Ahimelech.
Alright, so Zadok, his father, they were made high priests, alright, after this family out of Phinehas was exterminated. Alright. So we're going to go to 1 Chronicles 6 and 1 and just trace down one last time the bloodline of descendants of Levi.
The priesthood.
The priesthood, yeah. But the descendants as well.
1 Chronicles Chapter 6 verse 1. The sons of Levi, Gershon, Kohath, and Merari. And the sons of Kohath, Amram, Izhar, and Hebron, and Uziel. And the children of Amram, Aaron, and Moses, and Miriam. And the sons also of Aaron, Nadab, and Abihu, Eleazar, and Ithamar. Eleazar begat Phinehas. Phinehas begat Abishua, and Abishua begat Buki, or Buki, and Buki begat Uzi, and Uzi begat Zeriah, and Zeriah begat Merioth, and Merioth begat Amariah, and Amariah begat Ahitub, and Ahitub begat Zadok, and Zadok begat Ahimaaz, and Ahimaaz begat Azariah, and Azariah begat Johanan, and Johanan begat Azariah. It is that executed the priest's office in the temple that Solomon built in Jerusalem.
Alright, so we see that it's out of the bloodline of Zadok. Alright, when Solomon was building stuff, he had the bloodline of Zadok running things in his temple. Alright, and we just trace down the whole bloodline. You've seen it come from there to Aaron to Phinehas, from Phinehas going down to Zadok. Alright, and then they show you Azariah, who was in the priest's office dealing with the temple that Solomon built in Jerusalem. Alright, so the sons of Zadok was in control from those times. So we're going to go to Ezekiel 44 and 10.
Ezekiel chapter
Actually,
4.
before we even go there, let's go just to show you the Levitical priesthood. Alright, fallen. Alright, in Malachi. Malachi 2 and 1. 2 and 1. And let's go down to the 6th verse. The 8th verse.
Malachi chapter 2 verse 1. And now, O ye priests, this commandment is for you. If ye will not hear, and if ye will not lay it to heart, to give glory unto my name, saith the Most High of hosts, I will even send a curse upon you, and I will curse your blessings. Yea, I have cursed them already, because ye do not lay it to heart. Behold, I will corrupt your seed, and spread dung upon your faces, even the dung of your solemn feast, and one shall take you away with it.
Alright, so here we see the Most High showing that these priests, the sons of Levi, alright, they wouldn't hearken, alright, and that wasn't coming out of the bloodline of Zadok. That was the other sons of Levi. Alright, that wasn't coming out of the bloodline of Phinehas. Alright, they were not listening, alright, they were hiding the Most High's name. They were dealing with the false interpretations of the law, because when you go into the sons of Zadok, they don't give you that interpretation of the law. All right, the scripture at the beginning when we went into the Zadok, the definition of the Essene, they told you that they dealt with allegorical interpretations of the law, knowing that the law is spiritual. So they weren't taking it like, okay, circumcision, let me go cut off. No, they were taking it as it's allegorical, and they're looking for the higher meaning of it, which the other priests weren't doing.
Sacrifice they were against.
The sacrifices they were against as well. All right,
being steadfast to the law. Dealing
with the false food laws, dietary law that the Levitical priesthood was dealing with, not having their spiritual eyes open, not breaking down the law correctly. All right, so all of these things transpired to where the Most High had to curse the sons of Levi again. All right, even more. So the children of Israel, we had curses, but then based upon what we did, more curses was executed. So out of the 12 tribes, Levi, the priests, got more curses than the other tribes. All right, out of the tribes of Judah. The kingship of, not the kingship, the priesthood of Judah, all right? No, the house of Judah, which includes Judah, Benjamin, Levi, all right? Out of those three people, Levi got punished worse, all right? And out of the 12 tribes, the 2 kingdoms, we got punished worse because we were condemning the kings to sin, all right? When in the other priesthood, the northern kingdom, it was the kings that was making the people sin. In ours, it was us that was forcing the kings to sin, to why we received more punishment than the northern kingdom. That's what comes right now when a lot of Israelites are looking at the northern kingdom. They're like, oh, they didn't go through the slavery as us. They didn't go through this. Oh, look at that. They're getting retributions. They're getting this. They have their own land. They don't understand that the curses, they didn't get all of those curses that we got. We got more. We're the only ones that had to go, all right, into captivity amongst all nations.
Even though they got kicked out before us, we did wicked.
We did more wicked, all right? So we can't look at them and be like, yo, how comes the curse is not adding up? How comes we're getting more? That's what Israelites are doing now, and condemning those people and saying they're not Israel because they didn't go through what we went through. They didn't go through the harsh slavery we went through. All right? Where were we? We'll continue.
Verse 4. And ye shall know that I have sent this commandment unto you, that my covenant might be with Levi, saith the Most High of hosts. My covenant was with him of life and peace, and I gave them to him for the fear wherewith he feared me, and was afraid before my name. The law of truth was in his mouth, and iniquity was not found in his lips. He walked with me in peace and equity, and did turn many away from iniquity. For the priest's lips should keep knowledge, and they should seek the law at his mouth. For he is the messenger of the Most High of hosts. But ye are departed out of the way. Ye have caused many to stumble at the law. Ye have corrupted the covenant of Levi, saith the Most High of hosts.
All right, so here we see the Most High showing you they're causing people to stumble at the law, reading the law carnally, not spiritually. All right, and they corrupted the covenant with Levi, and this forced them to bring it through Phinehas. All right, it was prophesied that it will come out of Levi, but stay in Levi's bloodline, but go on to this particular bloodline will come out of Phinehas, which eventually was the sons of Zadok, and that's what we're going to go to now. All right, we're going to go to Ezekiel 44 and 10.
Ezekiel Chapter 44. Chapter 44 verse 10. And the Levites that are gone away far from me, when Israel went astray, which went astray which went astray away from me after their idols, they shall even bear their iniquity. Yet they shall be ministers in my sanctuary.
Alright, so you can stop right there. So the Most High first tells you the Levites are gone away from me when Israel went astray, and they went astray from me. And yet they shall be ministers in my sanctuary. So he's going to show you that he's not going to take them away from it, because why? We're going to see that the sons of Zadok was placed somewhere else, and they were keeping the Most High order, and the Levitical priesthood was still intact to where they're serving the people. You're going to see why that transpired. It's right here, alright? So read verse 11 again.
Verse 11. Ezekiel chapter 44, verse 11. Yet they shall be ministers in my sanctuary, having charge at the gates of the house, and ministering to the house. They shall slay the burnt offering and the sacrifice for the people, and they shall stand before them to minister unto them.
Alright, so he tells them, oh, you guys are losing it, but you guys are still going to be ministers in the sanctuary. So that's what comes. They stayed in the temple, and they were still slaughtering the sacrifices for the people, and still standing before them to minister unto the people. The sons of Zadok wasn't doing that, and you're going to see why the Most High does this. Alright, verse 12.
Because they ministered unto them before their idols, and caused the house of Israel to fall into iniquity, therefore have I lifted up mine hand against them, saith the Most High Power, and they shall bear their iniquity.
Alright, so because they did all these things with their idols and with Israel and their iniquity, the Most High is leaving them in that sanctuary that's defiled. Alright, he took the sons of Zadok out, because when you go and read reports of sons of Zadok wasn't going to that temple. Only on the holy days they were sending some stuff. They're like, here's a true sacrifice. Alright, that's like us going and sending, herbs and fruits and dishes to, other people's feast day and saying, yo, this is the real thing you're supposed to be dealing with. Alright, offer this up for us. There. Alright, so the Levites was still in the temple, and this is why the Most High made them do that, so that they could bear their iniquity. Alright, verse 13.
And they shall not come near unto me, to do the office of a priest unto me, nor to come near to any of my holy things in the most holy place, but they shall bear their shame and their abominations which they have committed. But I will make them keepers of the charge of the house, for all the service thereof, and for all that shall be done therein.
So the Most High tells them, no, you're not coming to where I'm going to have my priesthood and things. You're not going to come over there, but you're going to stay over here, and you're going to still deal with this order that you set up over here, and deal with the people. Alright, but you're not coming to my holy things. Alright, you're not going to come to my sanctuary. You're not going to learn about my stuff. Alright. So let's go to verse 15.
Verse 15. But the priests, the Levites, the sons of Zadok, that kept the charge of my sanctuary when the children of Israel went astray from me, they shall come near to me to minister unto me, and they shall stand before me to offer unto me the fat and the blood, saith the Most High Power.
Alright, and this fat and blood, alright, we have to take this spiritual. The fat represents the fat of the lamb, the corn, alright, the wheat of the land, the grains, the good grains, and the blood is symbolic for grape juice. And you could just go into the Strong's Concordance, and it tells you by analogy this. Alright, it tells you what it means physically. Oh, it means this, but if you're going to use it by analogy, it means that. Alright, so even the Strong's Concordance tells you that.
In the Strong's it says the choicest
parts of the land. Alright, the best grains of the land. Alright, so verse 16. So here we see the Most High telling Levitical priesthood, you're going to stay in charge of this temple that you have here. You're going to run the services for the people. You're going to slay the animals. You're going to do all of that. Alright, but the sons of Zadok, they're going to come into my holy temple. Alright, and if you just remember, Solomon, the Most High never wanted them to have a temple. He only did that because Solomon did that and did a prayer, and he's like, you know what, because he did this prayer, I'm going to bless this place. But that home, that temple, was never the Most High's. Alright, so the Most High could move it at any time to somewhere else. So even to a household, so where the sons of Zadok were chilling, they were coming in amongst themselves. That was the Most High's temple at that time. Alright.
Acts 7:48, the Most High dwelling in that temple.
Alright. Acts 7:4 and 28. 48. Slaki. All right, read verse 15 again.
Ezekiel chapter 44, verse 15. But the priests, the Levites, the sons of Zadok, that kept the charge of my sanctuary, when the children of Israel went astray from me, they shall come near to me to minister unto me, and they shall stand before me to offer unto me the fat and the blood, saith the Most High Power. They shall enter into my sanctuary, and they shall come near to my table to minister unto me, and they shall keep my charge. And it shall come to pass that when they enter in at the gates of the inner court, they shall be clothed with linen garments, and no wool shall come upon them, whilst they minister in the gates of the inner court and within. They shall have linen bonnets upon their heads, and shall have linen breeches upon their loins. They shall not gird themselves with anything that causeth
Sweat.
Salakia.
All right, so even this stuff, looking into that, this is why the sons of Zadok, they were all white, but they made sure that the cloth was linen. All right. All right, and then when you go into we went into the other day, the scripture that said the linen was the clothes of the righteous. All right, the material of the righteous. All right, so we're just gonna go to the fragments of Zadok. I'm gonna put it in the chat, and then we're gonna go right into Hebrews 10. Alright, so we're going to go to fragments of Zadok now. Now that Zadok and them is separated from Israel, what transpired. So now we're getting caught up right here. Alright, usually we just start right at Ezekiel 44 and that. Alright, we went all the way to the beginning with Adam and came to show people this is why we're dealing with this priesthood and this order and what transpired. Alright, so we're at fragments of Zadok. That's not in there. I put it in the chat. So.
Fragments of Zadok, chapter 6, verse 1. The priests are the penitents of Israel who went forth out of the land of Judah, and the Levites are they who joined them, and the sons of Zadok are the elect of Israel, called by the name, that are holding office in the end of the days. Behold the statement of their names according to their generations, and the period of their office, and the number of their afflictions, and the years of their sojournings, and the statement of their works.
Right, so here we have the sons of Zadok are the elect of Israel, called by name, that are holding office in the end of days. All right, so it wasn't just a random. The Most High said, "Yo, you're gonna hold office." We went through and we seen that this was something that was passed down, and that's why they're holding office. All right, it's not just the Most High saying, "Yo, you're gonna hold office," but this was passed straight on down from Adam. All right, all the way down to Aaron, from Aaron to Phinehas. Phinehas, the sons of Zadok. All right, and they're holding the office to the last days. That's where it stops. All right, anything priesthood, the scripture says, has to come out of this bloodline. All right, just like anything kingly has to come out of the tribe of Judah. All right, and David's bloodline. All right, continue for us.
Verse 4. The first saints whom the Most High pardoned, both justified the righteous and condemned the wicked. And all they who came after them must do according to the interpretation of the law, in which the forefathers were instructed, until the consummation of the period of these years, in accordance with the covenant which the Most High established with the forefathers in order to pardon their sins. So shall the Most High make atonement for them. And on the consummation of the period of the number of these years, they shall no more join themselves to the house of Judah.
Alright, so the Most High separated the sons of Zadok. The sons of Zadok went into Damascus. They went into the wilderness. Alright, they were no more with the sons of Judah. Alright, and this was the period of wrath that went on for 390 years. So The Levitical priesthood and the children of Israel stayed in their deception while the Most High took the sons of Zadok and kept them separate and was teaching them. Alright, and they would have to wait for Christ to come back. And we're going to go right down to Christ now, because everybody knows Christ. Under Christ, in Hebrews 10, it shows you he's both king and priest, the order of Melchizedek. So the same way it was in the beginning, the same way it's going to be in the ending, all right? And where Christ becomes king and priest, and you're going to see that eventually we are going to become the same as well. Let's go to Hebrews 10 and 11.
Hebrews chapter 10, verse 11. If therefore perfection were by the Levitical priesthood, for under it the people received the law, what further need was there that another priest should rise after the order of Melchizedek, and not be called after the order of Aaron? For the priesthood being changed, Salakia, there is made of necessity a change also of the law. For he of whom these things are spoken pertaineth to another tribe, of which no man gave attendance at the altar. For it is evident that our Lord and Savior, our Lord sprang out of Judah, of which tribe Moses spake nothing concerning priesthood.
Alright, so they're showing you the order. They just called the order Melchizedek, but this order was before Melchizedek. It's been going down from Adam, alright? And we don't even know where it came from before Adam, alright? And now it's coming back when Christ comes, because Christ is restoring everything to the new. Because this order of Aaron only happened because sin was going on. That's all why it happened, alright? It didn't get passed down smoothly. It happened like that because sin went on. Alright, and it got split apart. Alright, it went on because, sin went on and it got split apart. Alright, now Christ, who's perfect, is bringing it back again to how it was supposed to be, where one person is both king and priest. Alright, but continue for us.
Verse 15. And it is yet far more evident, for that after the similitude of Melchizedek there ariseth another priest, who is made, not after the law of a carnal commandment, but after the power of an endless life. For he testifieth, thou art a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek. For there is verily a disannulling of the commandment going before for the weakness and unprofitableness thereof. For the law made nothing perfect, but the bringing in of a better hope did, by the which we draw nigh unto the Most High. And inasmuch as not without an oath he was made priest, for those priests were made without an oath, but this with an oath by him that said unto him, the Most High swear and will not repent. Thou art a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek.
Alright, that's out of the Psalms, alright? Where Christ is saying this out of his mouth, that he's swearing that he's going to do this thing and not repent, and he's going to be a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek. Alright, continue.
Verse 22. By so much was Yeshua made a surety of a better testament. And they truly were many priests, because they were not suffered to continue by reason of death. But this man, because he continueth forever, continueth ever, hath an unchangeable priesthood.
Alright, so Adam was supposed to live forever, but because Adam eventually sinned and it was going to die, that's what comes the priesthood was being passed down and down and down. But it was supposed to stay with one person. Okay, that order was supposed to stay with one person, with Adam. The second Adam now had to come back, take it back, and he's now going to be in that position forever.
Gotta finish the mission.
all right, finish the mission, all right. Adam lost it. Adam couldn't keep it because he's gonna die. But if you go into the scriptures, they were all keeping it, but they couldn't keep it no longer because they're on their deathbed.
That's why in 1 Corinthians 15, we're talking about it yesterday, it says death had no more dominion.
Yeah.
Christ came and he defeated death.
He defeated it, all right, through him, all right. And the same processes he went through, we go through, we could defeat it as well. All right, so this becomes the priesthood, and this was being passed down and passed down and passed down because Adam sinned. He was going to die, so every time they're going to die, they have to pass it to the next one. All right, like a relay till Christ comes now. Christ's not going to die. It's in his hands now.
It's like a marathon.
All right, a marathon. And then he had to have the sons of Zadok there because from that time, you see that, okay, it was good for a while, and then Jared, and then everybody was going astray, and then we see it going down, and then people just keep going astray until the whole priesthood was corrupted. And he had to separate the sons of Zadok to keep it that way so that the Messiah could come back and rectify all of this. All right, so that's what comes the sons of Zadok was separated so that they could have an order that the Messiah could come out of. All right, and he could rectify this whole thing of the kingship and the priesthood and the blessing that was supposed to go. And it always goes to the firstborn. And Christ was what? The firstborn of the Most High. All right, but continue.
Verse 25. Wherefore he is able also to save them to the uttermost that come unto the Most High by him, seeing he ever liveth to make intercession for them. For such an high priest became us, who is holy, harmless, undefiled, separate from sinners, and made higher than the heavens, who needeth not daily as those high priests to offer up sacrifice, first for his own sins, and then for the people's. For this he did once, when he offered up himself. For the law maketh men high priests, which have infirmity, but the word of the oath, which was since the law, maketh the Son, who is consecrated forevermore.
All right, so those priests under the Levitical priesthood, they needed sacrifices every day, every day. Well, even going back before the Levitical priesthood under Shem and all of them, they weren't doing sacrifice every day. All right, there was none of that. All right, the children of Israel was just always in sin though, so they never had a time where it just reigned peacefully like that.
Like today.
Like today, yeah. They would need a priesthood. The priesthood would always have to be open, and every day someone would have to go through and they would have to be doing sacrifices for these people. All right, but this wasn't transpiring in those days. All right, especially when you go into the days before the flood. Everyone was peaceful at those times. All right, until it went into when they started to fall during Jared's time. All right, so we're just gonna go into Revelation 1 and 5. Just read Christ making us all kings and priests and kings. Revelation 1 and 5 and Revelation 5 and 10. And those are the last two. And then
Revelation chapter 1 verse 5. And from Yeshua Mashiach, who is the faithful witness and the first begotten of the dead, and the prince of the kings of the earth, unto him that loved us and washed us from our sins in his own blood, and has made us kings and priests unto the Most High, and his Father. To him be glory and dominion forever and ever.
all right, so under Christ we all become kings and priests. We all hold that because, all right, but he's the highest king, he's the highest priest, all right. But we're all kings and priests, and we're all going to be in different areas of the earth, as the scripture says, where we get our inheritance. All right, we're going to be ruling over certain different people. All right, Revelation 5 and 10.
Revelation chapter 5 verse 10. And has made us unto our power kings and priests, and we shall reign on the earth.
All right, so Christ brings back that whole order of the priesthood and the kingship under one person. All right, so we're going to go to Philippians Chapter 4 and 8.
Philippians chapter 4 verse 8. Finally, brethren, Whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue, if there be any praise, think on these things. Those things which ye have both learned and received and heard and seen in me, do. And the Most High of peace shall be with you.
Alright, and the Most High peace shall be with you. So today we went through what is the Essene priesthood. We went all the way to the beginning of the starting of priesthood with Adam, where Adam is given dominion over the whole earth, over the animals. And at the same time, Adam is offering sacrifices, being both king and priest. Alright, he now brings that on to Seth, and from Seth, it trickles down all the way until we see it given to Enoch. And then it's given to Noah. Noah takes it across the flood, and it's given to Shem. Alright, then from Shem to Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. It's not given to Reuben because Reuben slept with the handmaid. Alright, and it's broken up and split in two and goes to Judah, and one goes to Levi. Alright, under Levi now we have Aaron that gets the covenant of the priesthood. And after Aaron, it goes to Phinehas. And after Phinehas, it reaches all the way down to Zadok. And that's where we have the Essenes, alright? Who are the sons of Zadok, who received it because all Israel was going astray. But not only because of that, because it was prophesied that it would stay in that bloodline. Alright? And then they had to ensure that the priesthood was pure and in a state where the Messiah could come out of it, and the Messiah can now correct things to how it was supposed to be with Adam. Because Adam sinned and died, Adam could not keep the kingship and the priesthood for him alone and himself, alright? And it had to be passed along like a baton, alright? And this is why we follow the Essene priesthood, because this is who interpreting the law correctly. This is who the Most High made to be the priest, to have the priesthood, alright? It's not just Levi and the sons of Aaron. People stop right there. It goes to Phinehas, and then it goes to the sons of Zadok, and they're rightful owners of the priesthood of the Most High.
Just even to add on to that, for people there to, I guess, food for thought, when Saul was killing off a lot of the Jews, the only time when Yeshua intercepted was when he was on his way to Damascus.
Mm.
Why would that be so?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's where the pure law is.
Mm-hmm. You know, he had to stop that. Alright. So there we have it. Who the Essenes are. We went through a lengthy history from the beginning to the end and wrapped it up.
Off the top of my head, is that Acts 9? Oh. I can't even. Is that
I think it might be. It's very close. It might be very close.
Alright, so this is why we go under the Essene, alright? Essene community, alright? Understanding that this is the true priesthood. These are the true readers of the law. Alright? And that's why we go under the name Essene community, knowing that these are the people who have the law in the end times. Alright? And the priesthood and the office, and are correctly interpreting the scriptures and the law accurately. We're going to go to what? Acts 9 and...
It's pretty much like at the top, but
Yeah.
you could go start at verse 3.
We're going to go to Acts 9 and 3 just to show you that when Saul / Paul was going down to Damascus, the Messiah had to stop that, alright? Because this is the chosen priesthood, alright, that he's going to slaughter.
Yo, start at the top.
What's the introduction proper?
I don't know where you was going to go.
Yeah, what's his plan?
Yeah, Saul.
To bring back everybody who's following. Yeah.
Acts chapter 9, verse 1. And Saul, yet breathing out threatenings and slaughter against the disciples of the Most High, went unto the high priest, and desired of him letters to Damascus to the synagogues, that if he found any of this way, whether they were men or women, he might bring them bound unto Jerusalem. And as he journeyed, he came near Damascus, and suddenly there shined round about him a light from heaven. And he fell to the earth, and heard a voice saying unto him, Saul, Saul, why persecutest thou me? And he said, Who art thou, Lord? And the Lord said, I am Yeshua, whom thou persecutest. it is hard for thee to kick against the pricks. And he, trembling and astonished, said, Lord, what wilt thou have me to do? And the Lord said unto him, Arise and go into the city, and it shall be told thee what thou must do.
You can stop there. Alright, so there you have it. He was going to persecute Christ, alright? Christ is saying him. He didn't actually persecute Christ, but he's persecuting the body of Christ. Alright, which is Christ. Alright? So he had to stop that. Alright? Because he's going to persecute the same priesthood that the Most High separated. And Paul, or Saul, is coming from the Pharisee sect, alright, the Levitical priesthood that the Most High kept in charge of in the temple, alright, going back to Ezekiel 44, or
not
was
to
that
his fault,
46?
not to his fault though, because he was zealous for the law, keeping the law.
Well, they all are zealous,
Yeah,
right? But
yeah.
they just don't know,
Right.
right?
Romans 10 and 10.
But
But just to add on to that too, for as a side note, for the 3 days when he was blind, that's when you go to Second Corinthians 13, where he was taken up into the heavens, which you know is the apocalypse of fall.
Take up and showing everything.
Yeah.
That wasn't allowed to be uttered.
Alright, so we'll stop right there, alright? So that was the lessons for today. We want to say all praises due unto the Most High, Almighty Ahaya. This is the Essene Community Church. My name is Brother Shamar.
My name is Brother Tabak.
Alright, and you guys have the blessed of the rest of the Sabbath, and I hope everyone understands now why we're going under the Essenes, alright? Why we're dealing with this priesthood, and that it was foretold and that it was passed down all the way from Adam until we see it here right now. Alright? With that being said, Shabbat Shalom. Enjoy the rest of your day, and all praise to the Most High. Alright, and we have the conference Wednesday and Friday coming up. Tuesday, Salakia. Tuesday and Friday coming up. Alright?